Welcome to the channel. Today we're diving into something that can truly change the way you see the world. Picture this. A young woman walks into a bustling coffee shop in the middle of a chaotic morning. Her mind is racing with deadlines, errands, and endless to-do lists. She orders her drink, but as she waits, something shifts. She takes a deep breath, feels the warmth of the cup in her hands, and suddenly the noise around her fades. In that moment, she's not thinking about what's next. She's just there, fully present, and it changes everything. That simple shift is at the heart of Zen philosophy, and it's what we'll be exploring today. Over the next few minutes, we'll uncover 25 essential Zen teachings that can help you transform your everyday life. These aren't just abstract ideas. They're practical tools you can start using right away to find clarity, peace, and joy in the ordinary. Stick around because by the end of this video, you'll have the keys to unlock a deeper sense of calm and purpose in your own life. Let's get started. The first teaching is all about mindfulness. Now that we've set the stage, let's step into the heart of Zen with the first teaching, mindfulness. You've probably heard the term before, but what does it really mean? Mindfulness is the practice of being fully present in the moment without judgment or distraction. It's about noticing what's happening right now, the sounds, the sensations, the thoughts, without trying to change anything. This concept is deeply rooted in Zen philosophy, where the present moment is seen as the only true reality. Everything else, whether it's your worries about tomorrow or regrets about yesterday, exists only in your mind. So how do you bring mindfulness into your daily life? Start small. When you eat, focus solely on the flavors and textures of your food. When you walk, pay attention to the feeling of your feet touching the ground. These tiny shifts can help you cultivate a deeper awareness that transforms even the simplest activities into moments of peace and clarity. And as you practice, you'll notice something amazing. Mindfulness isn't just a tool for relaxation. It's a gateway to understanding yourself and the world around you. Speaking of understanding, the next teaching takes us even deeper into the essence of Zen by exploring how we relate to the ever-changing nature of life. As we journey further into the wisdom of Zen, we arrive at a cornerstone of its teachings, impermanence. This concept might sound abstract at first, but it's something we encounter every single day. Think about it, the seasons change, friendships evolve, and even your own thoughts and emotions come and go. Nothing stays the same, and that's exactly the point Zen invites us to embrace. Impermanence is not something to resist or fear. Rather, it's the natural rhythm of life itself. By accepting this truth, we free ourselves from the struggle of clinging to what we cannot hold. Imagine watching a sunset. You wouldn't try to stop the sun from setting, would you? Instead, you savor its beauty while it lasts, knowing it's a fleeting moment. That's what embracing impermanence feels like, a quiet liberation. So how can we practice this in our daily lives? Start by noticing small changes around you. Perhaps it's the way the light shifts in your room throughout the day, or how a plant grows a little taller each week. These observations remind us that life is a constant flow, and resisting it only leads to frustration. When we let go of our need to control every outcome, we create space for peace and clarity to emerge. This acceptance doesn't mean giving up or being passive. It's about trusting the process of life and finding strength in its unpredictability. And as we open ourselves to this teaching, we begin to see how interconnected it is with everything else in Zen, including the next teaching, which explores the profound impact of letting go. Now that we've explored the beauty of impermanence, it's time to delve into a teaching that flows naturally from it, letting go of attachments. This idea might sound challenging at first because, let's face it, we all have things we hold dear. Whether it's a prized possession, a specific outcome, or even an image of who we think we should be, attachments are deeply woven into our lives. But here's the key insight Zen offers. It's not the things themselves that cause suffering, it's our clinging to them. When we attach ourselves too tightly to something, we set ourselves up for disappointment because, as we've learned, everything changes. Think about a time when you really wanted something to happen, a job, a relationship, or even just a perfect day, and it didn't go as planned. How did it feel? Chances are the pain wasn't from the event itself, but from the gap between your expectations and reality. That's the weight of attachment. Zen doesn't ask us to stop caring or to abandon the things we love. Instead, it encourages us to hold them lightly, like a bird perched on your hand. You appreciate its presence, but you're also ready to let it fly when the time comes. So how can we practice letting go without losing the joy these things bring into our lives? Start small. Notice the moments when you feel tense or frustrated. Often, that's a sign you're clinging to something. Maybe it's an idea of how your day should unfold or an expectation of how someone else should behave. Acknowledge that feeling and then gently remind yourself that this rigidity only robs you of peace. A simple exercise is to pause and ask yourself, what am I holding onto right now, and can I loosen my grip just a little? It might feel uncomfortable at first, but with practice it becomes liberating. Another way to cultivate detachment is by practicing gratitude for what you have in the present moment, rather than focusing on what you might lose or what you feel is missing. For instance, instead of worrying about a friendship fading over time, focus on the joy it brings today. When we shift our energy from clinging to appreciating, we find that joy becomes more sustainable. And here's the beautiful paradox: the less we cling to things, the more we can truly enjoy them without fear of loss. This teaching doesn't mean we stop caring or loving. It means we learn to love more freely without the burden of expectations. It's about trusting that life will unfold as it's meant to, even if it doesn't look the way we imagined. By embracing this mindset, we begin to experience a deeper sense of peace, one that isn't dependent on external circumstances. And as we release these attachments, we create room for something even more profound: the power of silence, which we'll explore next. As we gently release the noise of attachments, we find ourselves stepping into a space where silence speaks louder than words ever could. This is where our journey takes a profound turn: the power of silence. Now, silence isn't just the absence of sound. It's a gateway to understanding yourself and the world around you in ways that words often can't reach. Think about it. When was the last time you truly sat in silence without reaching for your phone, turning on music, or filling the void with conversation? For many of us, silence feels unfamiliar, even uncomfortable. But within that stillness lies an opportunity to reconnect with what truly matters. Silence acts as a mirror, reflecting parts of ourselves that often get drowned out by the noise of daily life. When we allow ourselves to sit quietly, even for just a few moments, we begin to notice things we might have missed: the rhythm of our breath, the sensations in our body, or the subtle hum of the environment around us. These small observations may seem insignificant at first, but they anchor us in the present moment, reminding us that life unfolds in the here and now. It's in these quiet spaces that we often discover insights or answers that eluded us when our minds were busy racing from one thought to the next. Let's take a simple example. Imagine you're walking through a park early in the morning before the crowds arrive. The world feels calm, almost untouched. As you walk, you hear the leaves rustling, the distant chirping of birds, and your own footsteps against the path. There's no rush, no agenda, just you and the moment. In that silence, you might feel a sense of clarity or peace that's hard to find in the busyness of your routine. That's the transformative power of silence at work. It strips away the distractions, leaving only what's essential. Now, embracing silence doesn't mean you have to retreat to a mountaintop or meditate for hours every day, though those practices can certainly help. Start small. Perhaps it's turning off the radio during your commute and simply observing the world around you. Or maybe it's setting aside 5 minutes each evening to sit quietly, allowing your thoughts to come and go without judgment. Over time, these moments of stillness can become a sanctuary, a place where you recharge not just your body, but your mind and spirit as well. And here's something fascinating about silence: it often reveals what we've been avoiding. When you strip away the constant input from the outside world, you might notice emotions or thoughts that have been lingering beneath the surface. Instead of seeing this as a negative, consider it an invitation to explore and understand yourself more deeply. Silence gives you the space to process, to heal, and ultimately to grow. It's like tending to a garden. The more you nurture it, the more it flourishes. As we grow more comfortable with silence, we begin to recognize its presence not just as an external condition, but as an internal state of being. And this brings us closer to the next teaching, a deeper dive into the art of living fully in the now, where silence and presence intertwine to create a richer, more meaningful experience of life. As we journey deeper into the essence of Zen, we encounter a teaching that ties everything together: the art of living in the now. This isn't just a concept, it's a way of life that can transform how we experience every single moment. So let's explore what it truly means to be present and how we can cultivate this invaluable skill in our daily routines. Living in the now means letting go of the past and not getting lost in thoughts about the future. It's about immersing yourself fully in whatever you're doing right at this moment. Whether you're eating a meal, having a conversation, or simply taking a walk, your attention is undivided. You might be wondering, why does this matter so much? Well, consider this. When your mind is constantly drifting to what happened yesterday or worrying about tomorrow, you miss out on the richness of today. And the truth is, today is all we ever really have. One simple yet powerful technique to anchor yourself in the present is focusing on your breath. It sounds basic, but your breath is always with you, acting as a reliable anchor to bring you back to the moment. Try this. Take a slow, deep breath in, feeling the air fill your lungs, and then exhale gently, letting any tension melt away. Repeat this process a few times and notice how it softens the chatter in your mind. It's a practice you can return to anytime, no matter where you are. Another way to stay grounded in the now is by engaging your senses fully. Let's say you're sipping a cup of tea. Instead of scrolling through your phone or thinking about your to-do list, pay attention to the warmth of the mug in your hands, the aroma rising from the liquid, the taste as it touches your tongue. By doing this, you turn an ordinary act into a moment of mindfulness. It's these small shifts that add up to a profound change in how you experience life. Here's something else to keep in mind: distractions will inevitably arise. Thoughts about tomorrow or worries about yesterday might try to pull you away. But the key is not to fight them. Acknowledge their presence like clouds drifting across the sky, and then gently guide your focus back to the present. It's like training a muscle. The more you practice, the stronger it becomes. Imagine this: you're brushing your teeth, a task so routine it's almost automatic. Instead of letting your mind wander, bring your awareness to the sensation of the bristles against your gums, the sound of the water running, the taste of the toothpaste. By doing this, even something as mundane as brushing your teeth becomes an opportunity to connect with the now. And the more you practice this kind of awareness, the more life begins to feel vibrant and alive. Living in the now doesn't mean ignoring responsibilities or pretending challenges don't exist. It's about approaching life with a clear and focused mind, giving your full attention to whatever you're doing. When you do this, even difficult tasks become less overwhelming because you're no longer carrying the weight of the past or the uncertainty of the future. As we continue to explore the teachings of Zen, remember that being fully present isn't a destination, it's a practice. And just like any practice, it takes patience and persistence. But the rewards are worth it. When you live in the now, life feels richer, more meaningful, and deeply fulfilling. And this brings us to our next teaching, where we'll uncover how embracing a beginner's mind can open up new possibilities and deepen your connection to the world around you. Stepping into a fresh perspective, let's talk about a concept that has the power to reshape how you view the world around you. It's called Shoshin, or beginner's mind, and it's one of the most transformative teachings in Zen philosophy. At its core, Shoshin is about embracing life with the curiosity and openness of someone encountering something for the very first time, even if you've done it 1,000 times before. Think about the last time you tried something completely new. Maybe it was learning to cook a dish you'd never made or visiting a place you'd never been. Remember that sense of wonder, the heightened awareness, the excitement of discovery. That's what Shoshin is all about. But here's the beautiful part. You don't have to wait for something new to come along to experience this mindset. You can bring it into anything you do, no matter how ordinary it might seem. For example, imagine you're walking through a park you visit every day. Instead of tuning out because you've seen it all before, approach the walk as though it's your first time there. Notice the way the sunlight filters through the trees, the sound of leaves rustling in the breeze, or the way the path feels beneath your feet. By doing this, even the familiar becomes fresh and alive again. This practice of seeing with new eyes helps break the monotony of routine and invites deeper connection with the world. The beauty of Shoshin also lies in its ability to dissolve preconceived notions and assumptions. When we think we already know something, our minds tend to close off, missing out on opportunities for growth. But when we approach life with openness, we allow space for unexpected insights to emerge. Whether it's in your relationships, your work, or even your hobbies, letting go of the idea that you have all the answers can lead to surprising breakthroughs. Let me share a simple exercise to cultivate Shoshin in your daily life. The next time you're engaging in a task you're familiar with, maybe drinking your morning coffee or brushing your teeth, pretend you're doing it for the very first time. Pay attention to every detail, the texture, the sounds, the sensations. Notice how this shift in perspective transforms the experience. Over time, this practice can help you carry that sense of curiosity into other areas of your life, making even the most mundane moments feel rich and meaningful. Of course, embracing a beginner's mind isn't always easy. It requires letting go of the need to be an expert and being okay with not having all the answers. But when you do, you'll find that life becomes a continuous journey of learning and discovery. You'll start to notice small details you might have overlooked before, and you'll approach challenges with a sense of possibility rather than resistance. As we move forward, let this teaching remind you that there's always more to explore, no matter how much you think you know. And speaking of exploration, our next teaching will delve into the practice of observing thoughts and emotions without judgment, a powerful tool for cultivating inner peace. Now that we've explored the openness of a beginner's mind, let's turn our attention inward to a practice that can transform how we relate to our own thoughts and emotions. This is the art of non-judgmental awareness, a cornerstone of Zen philosophy that invites us to observe our inner world with kindness and curiosity. At first glance, it might sound simple, but this teaching has the power to reshape how we experience our daily lives in profound ways. Non-judgmental awareness means stepping back from labeling our thoughts and feelings as good or bad, right or wrong. Instead, we learn to see them for what they truly are, fleeting experiences that come and go like clouds drifting across the sky. When we stop attaching judgment to these internal events, we free ourselves from unnecessary suffering. Think about it. How often do we criticize ourselves for feeling anxious, frustrated, or sad? By resisting these emotions, we only amplify their weight. Non-judgmental awareness offers a gentler path. Imagine this: you're sitting quietly and a thought pops into your mind. Maybe it's a worry about the future or a memory from the past. Instead of immediately reacting to it, try simply acknowledging its presence. You might say to yourself, there's a thought about work, or I notice a feeling of sadness rising. There's no need to push it away or dwell on it. Just let it be, like watching a leaf float down a stream. This practice creates a sense of spaciousness within us, allowing emotions to flow through without getting stuck. Cultivating this mindset starts with small, intentional steps. One practical tip is to set aside a few minutes each day for what's often called mindful observation. Find a quiet space, close your eyes if you'd like, and turn your attention inward. As thoughts and sensations arise, greet them with curiosity rather than criticism. For instance, if you notice tension in your shoulders, resist the urge to label it as bad or uncomfortable. Instead, explore it as if you were meeting it for the first time. What does it feel like? Is it sharp or dull? Does it shift or stay the same? This gentle exploration builds a habit of responding to yourself with compassion rather than harshness. Another helpful technique is to use daily activities as opportunities to practice non-judgmental awareness. Take eating, for example. Many of us rush through meals, barely noticing the flavors or textures. The next time you sit down to eat, slow down and pay attention. Notice the colors on your plate, the aroma of the food, and the sensation of each bite. If a judgment arises, "This is too salty," or "I shouldn't have eaten that," acknowledge it without clinging to it. Let it pass like a breeze, returning your focus to the present moment. Over time, this practice spills over into other areas of life, helping you meet challenges with greater calm and clarity. Of course, adopting non-judgmental awareness isn't something that happens overnight. It takes patience and practice to unlearn the habit of labeling everything we experience, but the rewards are worth it. By observing your thoughts and emotions without judgment, you'll begin to notice a shift, not just in how you relate to yourself, but in how you interact with the world around you. You might find yourself more present, more accepting, and more compassionate not only toward others, but also toward yourself. As we continue on this journey of Zen teachings, you'll see how these practices weave together to create a tapestry of inner peace and understanding. Up next, we'll explore the concept of balance and moderation, showing you how the middle way can guide you toward a life of harmony and fulfillment. As we gently leave behind the practice of non-judgmental awareness, let's step into a teaching that strikes at the heart of finding harmony in our lives. This next principle, known as the middle way, offers a path that avoids the pitfalls of excess and deficiency, guiding us toward balance in all that we do. The middle way is a cornerstone of Zen philosophy, originating from the Buddha's own journey. Before his enlightenment, he lived a life of extreme luxury as a prince, shielded from the world's hardships. Later, he embraced severe asceticism, denying himself even the simplest comforts. Neither extreme brought him lasting peace or understanding. It was only when he chose a path of moderation, neither indulging in excess nor punishing himself with deprivation, that he discovered true insight and liberation. This wisdom is what we now call the middle way, a balanced approach to living that fosters both inner calm and outer sustainability. So, what does the middle way look like in the modern world? Imagine you're at work, juggling multiple tasks. On one hand, you could push yourself to the brink of exhaustion, working late into the night and sacrificing sleep and personal time. On the other hand, you might feel tempted to slack off, procrastinate, and let responsibilities pile up. The middle way invites you to find a sustainable rhythm, one where you work diligently but also honor your need for rest and renewal. By doing so, you not only preserve your energy but also enhance your productivity and joy. This teaching applies to countless areas of life. Take diet, for instance. Many people swing between extremes of rigid restriction and indulgent overeating. The middle way encourages mindful eating, savoring nourishing foods in moderation while allowing yourself occasional treats without guilt. The same principle can guide your financial habits. Instead of splurging recklessly or hoarding every penny out of fear, you can cultivate a balanced approach, spending wisely on what truly matters while saving for the future with intention. One powerful exercise to practice the middle way is to reflect on your daily routines. Are there areas where you lean too far in one direction? Perhaps you're overcommitted, saying yes to every opportunity that comes your way, leaving no time for rest. Or maybe you've withdrawn too much, avoiding challenges and growth. The key is to notice these patterns without self-criticism and gently adjust your course. Small shifts can make a big difference. For example, if you feel overwhelmed by your schedule, try setting aside one evening a week for quiet reflection or creative pursuits. If you've been avoiding exercise, start with just 10 minutes a day and gradually build from there. Another way to embody the middle way is through your relationships. In our fast-paced world, it's easy to fall into extremes, either becoming overly clingy and dependent or withdrawing into isolation. The middle way teaches us to nurture connections with care and presence, neither smothering others with attention nor neglecting their needs. It's about listening deeply, speaking honestly, and respecting boundaries, creating bonds that are both strong and flexible. Of course, walking the middle way isn't about achieving some mythical state of perfect balance all the time. Life is dynamic, and sometimes circumstances will pull us in one direction or another. What matters is the intention to return to center whenever you notice yourself veering off course. Over time, this practice becomes a natural part of how you navigate the world, helping you cultivate a sense of peace and purpose no matter what challenges arise. As we embrace the middle way, we begin to see that balance isn't just a lofty ideal, it's a practical tool for living well, and this wisdom sets the stage for what's ahead. Next, we'll explore the profound simplicity of Zen teachings as we delve into the practices of simplicity and minimalism, showing you how to declutter not just your physical space but also your mind. Stay with me as we uncover the beauty of living with less. As we journey forward from the harmonious balance of the middle way, let's turn our attention to two teachings that beautifully complement this path: simplicity and minimalism. These principles are about more than just tidying up your home or cutting back on possessions. They're invitations to create space in your life, not just physically but mentally and emotionally, fostering a deeper connection to what truly matters. Simplicity, in the Zen sense, isn't about deprivation or making things unnecessarily plain. It's about stripping away the unnecessary so that the essential can shine through. Think of a Zen garden. Its design is often minimal, with just a few rocks, some raked gravel, and perhaps a single plant. Yet, within that simplicity lies a profound sense of calm and beauty. This same idea can be applied to your life. What if you could remove the clutter that distracts you and focus on what brings genuine peace and purpose? Simplicity allows you to do just that. Minimalism takes this concept a step further, encouraging us to let go of anything that doesn't serve a meaningful role in our lives. This doesn't mean you need to live in a stark, empty room or give away all your belongings. Instead, it's about being intentional with what you choose to keep. For example, consider your wardrobe. How many items do you own that you never wear? By keeping only what you love and use, you free up not just your closet but also your mind, reducing decision fatigue and creating a sense of ease in your daily routine. Now let's talk about practical steps to bring these teachings into your life. Start with a small, manageable area, perhaps a single drawer or a shelf. As you go through the items, ask yourself, does this add value to my life? If the answer is no, it might be time to let it go. For things you decide to keep, consider whether they have a designated place. A key principle of minimalism is that everything should have its spot, reducing visual noise and making your space feel more serene. But simplicity and minimalism aren't just about physical objects, they're also about decluttering your mind. Many of us carry around mental baggage, whether it's unfinished tasks, unresolved emotions, or worries about the future. One way to address this is through a practice called mental inventory. Take a few moments each day to write down what's on your mind. Sometimes, simply acknowledging these thoughts can help you release them. Over time, this habit can create a mental environment that feels lighter and more spacious. Another powerful technique is setting boundaries with technology. Our digital lives are often filled with distractions, endless notifications, overflowing inboxes, and social media feeds that never seem to stop. Try designating specific times to check your phone or email, and give yourself permission to disconnect during other parts of the day. This small shift can help you reclaim your attention and focus on the present moment. The beauty of simplicity and minimalism lies in their ability to create freedom. When your space and mind are clear, you have more room to explore your passions, nurture your relationships, and simply be. And as you embrace these teachings, you'll find that they naturally lead you to the next step on this Zen journey, cultivating gratitude and contentment. Stick with me as we uncover how these two practices can transform the way you experience life. As we move from the freeing principles of simplicity and minimalism, we naturally arrive at two teachings that deepen our sense of fulfillment, gratitude, and contentment. These aren't just abstract ideas, they're practices that can transform how you experience life on a daily basis. Gratitude opens your heart to appreciate what you already have, while contentment allows you to rest peacefully in the present moment without constantly chasing more. Together, they form a powerful pair, helping you find joy in the here and now. Let's start with gratitude. It's easy to get caught up in what's missing or what could be better, but gratitude shifts your focus to the abundance that's already present in your life. Think about it. When was the last time you paused to truly appreciate the roof over your head, the food on your table, or even the air you breathe? Gratitude doesn't mean ignoring challenges or pretending everything is perfect. Instead, it's about noticing the good, no matter how small, and allowing it to fill you with a sense of wonder. One simple exercise to cultivate gratitude is keeping a daily journal. Each evening, write down 3 things you're thankful for. They don't have to be monumental. Perhaps it's the way the sunlight warmed your face in the morning or a kind word from a friend. Over time, this practice trains your mind to seek out the positive, even in difficult situations. Now, let's explore contentment. While gratitude focuses on appreciating what you have, contentment is about finding peace with where you are. It's the quiet confidence that you're enough, and what you have is enough, at least for this moment. Contentment doesn't mean you stop growing or striving, but it prevents you from being consumed by endless desires. A helpful way to nurture contentment is through a practice called mindful reflection. At the end of each day, take a few minutes to sit quietly and ask yourself, what brought me peace today? Maybe it was a moment of laughter, a walk in nature, or simply the quiet satisfaction of finishing a task. By acknowledging these moments, you begin to see that contentment isn't something you need to search for outside yourself. It's already within you, waiting to be noticed. Gratitude and contentment are deeply interconnected. When you're grateful, it becomes easier to feel content, and when you're content, you naturally find more things to be grateful for. To bring these teachings together, try this simple exercise. Each morning as you start your day, take a deep breath and silently acknowledge one thing you're grateful for and one thing you're content with. For example, you might feel grateful for a good night's sleep and content with the fact that you have a new day ahead to embrace. These small moments of awareness can set a positive tone for the hours to come. As you weave gratitude and contentment into your daily life, you'll likely notice a shift not just in your mindset, but in how you interact with others and the world around you. These practices encourage you to slow down, to savor the richness of the present, and to recognize the interconnectedness of all things. And with that foundation in place, we're ready to turn our attention to an important aspect of Zen philosophy, understanding the nature of suffering. Let's uncover why suffering arises and how we can address its root causes to find greater peace. As we gently pivot from the uplifting practices of gratitude and contentment, let's now explore a profound yet often misunderstood teaching: the nature of suffering. In Zen philosophy, suffering isn't seen as something to fear or avoid, but as an opportunity to deepen our understanding of life. Suffering, or what Zen calls dukkha, arises when we cling to things that are impermanent or resist the natural flow of existence. It's like trying to hold onto a handful of sand. The tighter you grip, the more it slips away. By examining the roots of suffering, we can begin to untangle ourselves from its hold. At its core, suffering stems from three main causes: attachment, aversion, and ignorance. Attachment is when we become overly fixated on people, possessions, or outcomes. Aversion is the opposite. It's our resistance to things we dislike or find uncomfortable. Ignorance, in this context, doesn't mean a lack of knowledge but a failure to see reality as it truly is. Together, these forces create a cycle where we're constantly chasing after happiness in external things or pushing away discomfort, never finding lasting peace. Sounds exhausting, doesn't it? The good news is that Zen offers a path to break free from this cycle. Let's take a closer look at attachment. Imagine you're stuck in traffic and feeling frustrated because you're late for an appointment. Your suffering isn't caused by the traffic itself, but by your attachment to being on time. What if, instead of resisting the moment, you used it as an opportunity to breathe deeply and let go of expectations? This simple shift in perspective can transform a stressful situation into one of calm acceptance. Similarly, aversion often shows up in our relationships. When someone says something we disagree with, we might feel irritation or anger. But what if we viewed their words not as a personal attack but as an expression of their own struggles? This doesn't mean condoning harmful behavior. It means freeing ourselves from the emotional weight of taking things personally. Now, let's address ignorance, which might be the trickiest of the three. Ignorance in Zen isn't about being uninformed, but about mistaking fleeting experiences for permanent truths. For example, we might believe that acquiring a certain job, relationship, or possession will make us permanently happy. But happiness tied to external conditions is fragile. It can vanish as quickly as it arrived. Zen encourages us to see through this illusion by practicing mindfulness. When we observe our thoughts and emotions without judgment, we begin to recognize them as temporary clouds passing through the sky of our awareness. This awareness alone can loosen the grip of ignorance. To help you apply this teaching in your daily life, try a simple exercise. Whenever you notice discomfort or dissatisfaction, pause and ask yourself, what am I clinging to or resisting right now? Maybe you're attached to a specific outcome at work or resisting a change in your personal life. By identifying these patterns, you can start to loosen their hold on you. Over time, this practice can lead to a profound sense of freedom, a realization that your peace doesn't depend on external circumstances. Understanding the nature of suffering doesn't mean eliminating it entirely. Life will always have its ups and downs, but Zen teaches us how to navigate these challenges with grace and resilience. By addressing the root causes of our struggles, we can find a deeper sense of peace that isn't shaken by life's inevitable storms. And speaking of resilience, our next teaching will guide you toward one of the most transformative practices in Zen meditation. Together, we'll uncover how this ancient practice can help you cultivate clarity, calm, and emotional strength. So stay with me as we explore the role of meditation in Zen philosophy. As we journey deeper into the heart of Zen philosophy, we arrive at a practice that serves as both anchor and compass for the soul: meditation. Often misunderstood as simply sitting in silence, meditation in Zen is far more than that. It's a doorway to understanding yourself and the world around you with crystal clarity. Whether you're new to meditation or have dabbled in it before, this teaching will illuminate its profound role in Zen and how it can transform your mental and emotional well-being. At its essence, meditation is about creating space, a pause between your thoughts, emotions, and reactions. It's like tending to a garden where you pull out the weeds of distraction and nurture the soil of awareness. In Zen, meditation isn't seen as an escape from life, but as a way to fully engage with it. There are several forms of meditation in Zen practice, each offering its own unique gifts. For instance, Zazen, or seated meditation, is often called the cornerstone of Zen. It involves sitting in a comfortable yet alert posture, focusing on your breath and observing your thoughts without attachment. This simple yet powerful practice helps quiet the mind and opens the door to deeper insight. Another form is walking meditation or kinhin, which brings mindfulness into motion. Instead of sitting, you walk slowly and deliberately, synchronizing your breath with each step. This practice is especially helpful for those who find stillness challenging or who want to integrate mindfulness into their everyday movements. Then there's loving kindness meditation, where you direct well wishes toward yourself and others. This practice softens the heart, fostering compassion and connection. Each type of meditation strengthens a different aspect of your being, like tools in a toolkit designed to help you navigate life's complexities. So, how does meditation benefit you? For starters, it sharpens mental clarity. Imagine your mind as a lake. When the surface is disturbed by constant ripples of thought, it's hard to see what lies beneath. Meditation calms those ripples, allowing you to see the depths of your own awareness. This clarity helps you make decisions with greater focus and intention. It also builds emotional resilience, giving you the ability to face challenges without being overwhelmed. Think of it as training for your mind, much like how physical exercise strengthens your body. Over time, meditation helps you respond to life's ups and downs with calmness rather than reactivity. To begin incorporating meditation into your life, start small. Even 5 minutes a day can make a difference. Find a quiet space, sit comfortably, and focus on your breath. If your mind wanders, and it will, gently bring your attention back without judgment. Consistency matters more than duration. As you practice, you might notice subtle shifts, a greater sense of calm, improved focus, or even moments of unexpected joy. These are signs that meditation is working its magic, helping you align with the present moment. Meditation isn't just about personal growth, it's also about contributing to a more peaceful world. When you cultivate inner peace, it naturally extends outward, influencing your interactions and relationships. And speaking of relationships, our next teaching will delve into the transformative power of compassion, how extending kindness to others not only benefits them but also enriches your own life in profound ways. So, as we step forward, carry with you the understanding that meditation is not a solitary act but a ripple that touches everything around you. Now that we've explored the ripple effects of inner peace, let's turn our attention to a quality that amplifies it: compassion. Often misunderstood as simply being kind, compassion in Zen philosophy runs much deeper. It's an active, heartfelt connection to all living beings, a recognition that we are all threads in the same tapestry. When you extend compassion to others, you don't just brighten their day, you also nurture your own sense of wholeness and joy. Compassion begins with the understanding that everyone is fighting their own battles, even if they don't show it. This awareness shifts how you interact with the world. For example, when someone cuts you off in traffic or snaps at you during a busy day, rather than reacting with frustration, you might pause and think, "They must be carrying something heavy today." This simple shift doesn't excuse harmful behavior, but it helps you respond from a place of empathy rather than anger. Over time, this practice can transform how you move through life, softening your edges and opening your heart. One way to cultivate compassion is through small, intentional actions. It might be as straightforward as offering a genuine smile to a stranger or lending a listening ear to a friend in need. These acts don't take much effort, yet they create a positive feedback loop. The more you give kindness, the more connected you feel to others, and the more you notice the interconnectedness of all beings. Zen teaches that we are not isolated individuals but part of a larger whole, and compassion is the bridge that reminds us of this truth. Another powerful practice is extending compassion to yourself. Many people are harder on themselves than anyone else, constantly criticizing their actions or holding themselves to impossibly high standards. But true compassion starts within. When you treat yourself with gentleness and understanding, you naturally radiate that warmth outward. For instance, if you make a mistake, instead of berating yourself, you might say, "I'm human and I'm learning." This self-compassion not only boosts your well-being but also sets the tone for how you treat others. Compassion also has an unexpected side effect. It builds resilience. When you focus on helping others, your own struggles often feel lighter. For example, volunteering at a local shelter or simply helping a neighbor carry groceries can shift your perspective. You realize that suffering is universal, yet so is the potential for kindness. By sharing compassion, you tap into a wellspring of strength that helps you navigate your own challenges with greater grace. In Zen, compassion is not a passive virtue. It's something you actively practice every day. Whether it's through a kind word, a thoughtful gesture, or simply holding space for someone in silence, every act of compassion makes the world a little brighter. And as you nurture this quality, you'll find that the benefits circle back to you. Like a boomerang, the kindness you send out returns to enrich your own life in surprising and beautiful ways. With this understanding of compassion as a cornerstone of Zen living, we now move forward to explore how acceptance and surrender can further deepen your connection to life's flow. As we journey deeper into the heart of Zen philosophy, we arrive at a transformative pair of teachings, acceptance and surrender. These concepts are often misunderstood, yet they hold the key to profound personal growth. Rather than signs of giving up, acceptance and surrender are acts of courage, a conscious choice to align with life's natural rhythms instead of resisting them. They empower us to let go of what we cannot control and embrace what is, opening the door to peace and resilience. Acceptance begins with acknowledging reality as it is, not as we wish it to be. Life is unpredictable, filled with challenges and changes that can feel overwhelming. But resisting these truths only amplifies our suffering. For instance, imagine a tree in a storm. A rigid tree that fights against the wind is more likely to break, while a flexible one that bends with the force of nature remains standing. In the same way, when we accept life's storms, whether it's a missed opportunity, a misunderstanding, or even personal loss, we position ourselves to weather them with greater strength. Acceptance doesn't mean we stop striving for improvement. It simply means we meet life where it is, freeing ourselves from the exhausting grip of denial or resistance. Surrender, on the other hand, is the art of releasing our need to control every outcome. Many of us carry the belief that if we just try hard enough, we can shape every detail of our lives. While effort is valuable, clinging too tightly to our plans or expectations can create unnecessary tension. Surrender invites us to trust the process of life, to let go of the illusion that we must micromanage every moment. Think of a river flowing effortlessly toward the ocean. It doesn't fight its path, it adjusts curves and finds its way naturally. When we surrender, we allow ourselves to be like that river, moving with grace and ease even in the face of uncertainty. One powerful way to practice acceptance and surrender is by reframing our relationship with discomfort. Instead of avoiding or resisting difficult emotions, we can choose to sit with them, observing them without judgment. For example, if you're feeling frustrated or anxious, rather than pushing those feelings away, you might say to yourself, "This is how I feel right now, and that's okay." Paradoxically, this act of embracing discomfort often diminishes its power over us, creating space for clarity and healing. Zen teaches that growth often arises from the very challenges we'd rather avoid, and acceptance provides the soil in which resilience can take root. Another way to cultivate these teachings is by embracing imperfection. Perfectionism is a common barrier to both acceptance and surrender, as it keeps us trapped in a cycle of self-criticism and unrealistic expectations. By letting go of the need to be perfect, we give ourselves permission to be human, to stumble, and to learn. When you make a mistake, instead of dwelling on it, try saying, "This moment is part of my journey and it has something to teach me." This simple shift can transform how you view setbacks, turning them from failures into opportunities for growth. Together, acceptance and surrender create a dynamic partnership. Acceptance grounds us in the present moment, giving us the clarity to see things as they truly are. Surrender then allows us to release our grip, trusting that life will unfold as it's meant to. This combination fosters an inner calm that doesn't depend on external circumstances. It's like learning to dance in the rain instead of waiting for the storm to pass. There's freedom in realizing that joy can exist even amidst challenges. As you explore these teachings, remember that acceptance and surrender are not about passivity. They are active practices that require awareness, intention, and sometimes even courage. When we embrace them, we step into a deeper connection with life, one that honors its beauty and complexity. And this brings us to the next step on our journey: patience and perseverance, two qualities that will help you stay steady as you navigate the twists and turns of the path ahead. Now that we've explored the transformative power of acceptance and surrender, it's time to turn our attention to two qualities that act as anchors in the unpredictable waves of life: patience and perseverance. Together, they form a dynamic duo that equips us to face challenges with both calmness and determination. While they may seem like opposites at first glance, patience and perseverance are deeply interconnected, each strengthening the other to help us move forward with resilience and grace. Patience is more than just waiting. It's the ability to remain calm and composed even when things don't go as planned. Life is full of delays, setbacks, and unexpected twists, and patience teaches us to trust the timing of our journey. Think of a gardener planting seeds. They don't rush the process or dig up the seeds daily to check for growth. Instead, they water the soil, provide sunlight, and trust that the plants will emerge in their own time. This same principle applies to our lives. When we practice patience, we stop fighting against the natural flow of events and allow space for things to unfold as they're meant to. Patience reminds us that not everything worthwhile happens immediately, and that's perfectly okay. Perseverance, on the other hand, is the quiet determination to keep going, even when the road feels long and uncertain. It's about showing up consistently, putting one foot in front of the other, no matter how challenging the terrain may be. Imagine climbing a mountain. The path might be steep, rocky, and exhausting, but perseverance keeps you moving upward step by step. Without perseverance, we might give up at the first sign of difficulty. But when we commit to sticking with our goals, we discover an inner strength that can carry us through the toughest moments. What makes patience and perseverance so powerful is how they complement each other. Patience gives us the emotional steadiness to endure challenges without becoming overwhelmed, while perseverance provides the drive to keep pushing forward even when progress feels slow. For example, learning a new skill often requires both. You might feel frustrated when you don't see immediate results, but patience allows you to stay calm and trust the process, while perseverance keeps you practicing until you improve. Together, they keep you grounded and motivated, ensuring that you don't give up too soon or rush the process unnecessarily. One of the best ways to cultivate these qualities is by reframing how you view obstacles. Instead of seeing challenges as roadblocks, try to see them as opportunities to grow. For instance, if you're working on a creative project and hit a wall, patience encourages you to step back and let ideas marinate, while perseverance motivates you to keep refining and revising until you're satisfied. By embracing both qualities, you can navigate difficulties with a sense of balance and purpose. Another way to practice patience and perseverance is by setting small, manageable goals. Break down larger tasks into smaller steps and celebrate each milestone along the way. This approach not only makes daunting tasks feel more achievable, but also reinforces the value of steady effort over time. Over time, you'll find that patience and perseverance become second nature, helping you tackle life's challenges with a sense of calm and confidence. As we continue to explore the Zen teachings, remember that patience and perseverance are not just tools for overcoming obstacles, they're also pathways to a deeper sense of fulfillment. They teach us to honor the journey itself rather than fixating solely on the destination. And this brings us to a teaching that invites us to find joy not in grand achievements, but in the simple, ordinary moments of everyday life. Now that we've seen how patience and perseverance can guide us through life's challenges, let's shift our focus to something equally transformative yet often overlooked: the beauty hidden in the seemingly mundane. This next teaching invites us to uncover joy in the most ordinary moments of our day. It's about learning to appreciate the small, quiet wonders that surround us, even when they seem insignificant at first glance. Take a moment to think about your morning routine. Perhaps it starts with the sound of your alarm, the smell of coffee brewing, or the feeling of water running over your hands as you wash up. These are simple actions, things you might do without much thought. But what happens if you pause and truly pay attention? Maybe you notice the way sunlight filters through your window, creating patterns on the floor, or how the steam from your tea curls gently into the air. In these fleeting details lies an unexpected richness, a reminder that beauty doesn't always come wrapped in grand gestures. It's often woven into the fabric of our daily lives. A story comes to mind about a woman who worked in a busy office. Every day, she walked the same route to work, barely noticing her surroundings. One morning, however, she decided to leave her headphones at home and simply observe. She noticed the way leaves danced in the wind, the rhythm of footsteps on the pavement, and the laughter of children playing nearby. What had once been a monotonous commute became a source of delight. By embracing mindfulness, she found joy where she least expected it. This teaching encourages us to adopt a similar mindset. Whether it's savoring the texture of bread as you eat breakfast, feeling the cool breeze against your skin during a walk, or listening intently to the hum of conversation around you, there's magic in the everyday if we choose to see it. Zen reminds us that life isn't just about chasing extraordinary experiences, it's about finding fulfillment in the here and now, in the moments we might otherwise take for granted. One exercise to cultivate this awareness is to designate a mindful moment each day. Pick an activity you normally do on autopilot, like brushing your teeth, drinking water, or folding laundry, and bring your full attention to it. Notice the sensations, sounds, and movements involved. Over time, this practice can help retrain your mind to recognize the extraordinary within the ordinary. As we carry this lesson forward, consider how embracing the present moment in such a simple way can ripple outward, enriching not only your own life but also your interactions with others. And speaking of connection, the next teaching will explore a profound truth about the interconnectedness of all things, revealing how even the smallest actions can have far-reaching effects. In recognizing the extraordinary within the ordinary, we begin to see how everything around us is intertwined in ways that are both subtle and profound. This understanding brings us to our next teaching, where Zen philosophy unveils a truth that resonates deeply with anyone seeking harmony and meaning in life: the interconnectedness of all things. Picture this: a single drop of rain falling into a still pond. It creates ripples that spread outward, touching every part of the water's surface. In much the same way, each action we take, no matter how small, sends waves through the web of existence, affecting people, places, and circumstances far beyond what we can immediately perceive. Zen teaches us that nothing happens in isolation. Every breath we take, every word we speak, and every choice we make contributes to the intricate tapestry of life. Consider the meals you eat. The grains in your bread were grown by farmers who planted seeds nurtured by sunlight, rain, and soil teeming with life. The effort of countless individuals, from harvesters to transporters to grocery store workers, brought that loaf to your table. When you pause to reflect on this chain of connection, something as simple as eating becomes an act of gratitude and awareness. You realize that even the smallest actions tie you to a vast network of relationships spanning time and space. This sense of interconnectedness extends beyond human interactions. Zen invites us to see ourselves as part of the natural world, reminding us that we are not separate from nature but deeply embedded within it. Imagine sitting beneath a tree on a quiet afternoon. The oxygen you breathe was released by the leaves above you, and the shade you enjoy is a gift from its branches. In return, your presence enriches the soil when you tread lightly, and your appreciation honors the tree's role in this shared ecosystem. There's a mutual exchange happening, one that underscores the unity of all living beings. So, how can we embrace this teaching in our daily lives? Start by noticing the impact of your actions, no matter how minor they may seem. Hold the door for someone, and you might brighten their day in ways you'll never fully know. Choose kindness over indifference in a conversation, and you plant seeds of understanding that could grow over time. Even decisions like reducing waste or conserving energy ripple outward, contributing to the well-being of the planet and future generations. Another powerful exercise is to sit quietly and visualize the connections in your own life. Think of the people who shaped you, the family members, teachers, friends, and mentors whose influence helped form who you are today. Then expand that image to include those you've influenced in turn. Like threads in a great cosmic web, these relationships remind us that we're never truly alone. We are all part of something larger than ourselves, and embracing this truth fosters a deep sense of responsibility, not just for our own lives, but for the collective whole. As we move forward, keep this idea of interconnectedness close to your heart. It teaches us to act with care, to live with purpose, and to remember that even the smallest gestures can create profound change. And now, let's explore a concept that might initially seem daunting but ultimately liberates us from unnecessary struggles: the illusion of control. This next teaching will challenge you to rethink how much power you truly have over life's twists and turns, and how freeing that realization can be. Shifting our perspective now, let's delve into a teaching that invites us to release the exhausting grip of trying to manage every detail of our lives. Zen reminds us that much of what we stress over is beyond our reach, and clinging to the belief that we can control everything only leads to frustration and disappointment. This illusion of control, as it's often called, is a barrier to peace, and learning to see through it can transform how we navigate life's uncertainties. Think about the last time you made detailed plans only for something completely unexpected to upend them. Maybe it was bad weather, a missed connection, or a last-minute change at work. Life has a way of unfolding in ways we can't predict, no matter how carefully we prepare. Zen teaches us that rather than resisting this unpredictability, we can lean into it by focusing on what we can influence: our mindset, our reactions, and our intentions. These are the tools we carry with us, regardless of what happens around us. Imagine standing on the shore of a vast ocean, trying to command the waves to stop crashing. Sounds impossible, right? Yet this is often how we approach life's challenges, wishing we could bend every situation to our will. Zen encourages us to step back from this struggle. Instead of fighting the tide, we learn to observe it, understanding that the waves will rise and fall whether we intervene or not. What we can control is how we respond. Do we tense up with worry, or do we breathe deeply and find calm within the chaos? One helpful practice is to regularly ask yourself, what can I control right now? If you're stuck in traffic, for instance, honking or fuming won't change the situation, but you can choose to use that time to listen to music, practice deep breathing, or simply notice the scenery around you. By shifting your attention to what's within your power, you free yourself from the mental weight of circumstances you can't alter. This teaching also invites us to reflect on how much energy we devote to worrying about things far in the future. Will that email you sent really determine your entire career trajectory? Is the outcome of a single conversation truly as monumental as it feels in the moment? Often, we inflate the importance of events, believing we need to micromanage every aspect to ensure success. Zen gently reminds us to trust the process and let go of the need to orchestrate every detail. Letting go of the illusion of control doesn't mean giving up or becoming passive. On the contrary, it empowers us to direct our energy toward what truly matters. It's about recognizing the difference between effort and resistance. Effort is purposeful action aligned with your values, while resistance is the futile attempt to dominate the uncontrollable. When you focus on effort, you move forward with clarity and intention, unburdened by the weight of trying to force outcomes. So, as we embrace this teaching, consider how you might begin to loosen your grip on the need to control. Start small, observe where you feel tension or frustration, and ask yourself if it's rooted in something you can actually change. Experiment with releasing those worries, even for a few moments, and notice how it feels to let go. Over time, this practice can help you cultivate a sense of ease and trust in the flow of life, empowering you to act with purpose while accepting the beauty of uncertainty. And with that understanding, we're ready to explore a teaching that challenges how we perceive emptiness and fullness, not as opposites, but as two sides of the same profound truth. Now, let's turn our attention to a concept that might seem puzzling at first, but holds incredible depth once we unpack it together. Zen introduces us to the idea of emptiness and fullness not as opposing forces, but as interconnected aspects of existence that shape how we experience life. At first glance, emptiness might sound like something negative, a void to be filled. Yet in Zen philosophy, it represents boundless potential, the fertile ground from which all things arise. Picture an empty room. To some, it might appear unused or incomplete, but for an artist or creator, that same space brims with possibility, a canvas waiting to be transformed into something meaningful. In the same way, Zen teaches us that emptiness is not about lack, it's about openness. When we let go of rigid expectations and preconceived notions, we make room for new insights, experiences, and connections to flow into our lives. Let me share a story to illustrate this. Imagine a young woman who spends her days chasing achievements, promotions, accolades, even relationships, believing these will bring her fulfillment. Yet no matter how much she acquires, she feels a lingering sense of dissatisfaction. One day, while sitting quietly in meditation, she begins to notice the constant chatter of her mind. She realizes she's been clinging to ideas about what her life should look like, leaving little space for anything else. As she starts to release these fixed beliefs, something shifts. She begins to feel lighter, more present, and unexpectedly more content. It's as if by letting go of the need to fill every corner of her life, she has created space for genuine joy to emerge. Another metaphor often used in Zen is that of a cup. If a cup is already full, there's no room to pour in anything new, no matter how refreshing or nourishing it might be. Only when the cup is emptied can it receive. Similarly, when we clear away the clutter of unnecessary thoughts, habits, or attachments, we create the conditions for growth and transformation. It's a reminder that sometimes less truly is more. This teaching encourages us to rethink how we approach challenges and opportunities. Instead of rushing to fill every moment with activity or noise, what if we allowed ourselves to pause and simply be? Whether it's sitting in stillness, listening deeply to another person, or engaging fully in a simple task, these moments of openness can lead to unexpected richness. You might wonder, how does this apply in everyday life? Consider your own routines. Are there spaces in your day where you could invite a bit of emptiness? Perhaps it's putting down your phone during meals to savor the flavors and textures of your food. Or maybe it's taking a few minutes each morning to sit quietly, observing your breath without trying to change anything. These small acts of letting go can help you access a deeper sense of fullness, not by accumulating more, but by appreciating what's already here. Through this teaching, Zen invites us to embrace both emptiness and fullness as essential parts of the human experience. When we stop resisting the natural ebb and flow of life, we discover that what we've been searching for has been within us all along. And with that understanding, we're ready to explore how living authentically can bring even greater clarity and purpose to our journey. As we journey deeper into these teachings, we arrive at a principle that ties so much of what we've explored together: living authentically. This isn't just about being true to who you are in the quiet moments of self-reflection. It's about aligning your actions, choices, and words with your deepest intentions. Think of it as walking a path where every step feels like it's in harmony with your inner compass. Sounds simple, doesn't it? Yet, many of us spend much of our lives living out expectations, those of society, family, or even the stories we tell ourselves about who we should be. Let's break this down a little further. Imagine someone who dreams of creating art but spends their days buried in a job that feels uninspired and disconnected from their passion. They might tell themselves, "This is just how life is," or "I have responsibilities to think about." While those statements might hold some truth, over time, the gap between what they truly want and what they're doing can create a quiet but persistent unease. Zen teaches us that when we live in ways that contradict our inner values and desires, we experience a subtle form of suffering, one that often goes unnoticed until it grows louder over time. So how do we bridge that gap? It begins with self-awareness. Take a moment to consider, what are the things that light you up? What activities make you lose track of time because you're so absorbed in them? These clues point to your true intentions, your authentic self. Once you have a clearer sense of what matters most to you, the next step is to start aligning your actions with those insights. This doesn't mean you have to make drastic changes overnight. Sometimes, small shifts can create profound ripples. For example, if you value creativity but feel stuck in a routine job, perhaps you could dedicate an hour each week to exploring a hobby that sparks joy. Or if connection is important to you, maybe you begin prioritizing deeper conversations with loved ones instead of letting distractions take over. Living authentically also means learning to navigate the fear and resistance that often arise when we step outside familiar patterns. There's a reason why so many people stay in situations that don't fulfill them. It feels safe, predictable, and less risky. But Zen reminds us that growth rarely happens within the boundaries of comfort. Remember the cup we discussed earlier. In order to pour something new into your life, you may need to let go of habits or beliefs that no longer serve you. This act of releasing isn't always easy, but it opens the door to a richer, more meaningful existence. Here's another way to think about it. Imagine your life as a garden. If you plant seeds of authenticity, if you water them with actions that reflect your true intentions, you'll eventually see blooms of fulfillment and purpose. But if you keep scattering seeds of obligation or fear, you'll end up with a garden that's overgrown with weeds, leaving little room for what truly matters. It's a gentle reminder that the way we show up in our lives shapes the reality we experience. Let me share a personal reflection. I once found myself caught in the cycle of saying yes to every request that came my way, believing it was the best way to be helpful and valued. But over time, I realized I was stretching myself too thin, leaving no space for the things that truly brought me joy and meaning. When I began setting boundaries and saying no to what didn't align with my values, something remarkable happened. I felt more grounded, more present, and surprisingly, more connected to the people and activities that mattered most. It wasn't about rejecting others' needs, it was about honoring my own in a way that created a healthier balance. As you reflect on this teaching, consider where you might be compromising your authenticity. Are there areas of your life where you're living out of alignment with your true self? If so, what's one small step you could take today to move closer to living authentically? Perhaps it's expressing a thought you've been holding back, picking up a hobby you've neglected, or simply giving yourself permission to pause and check in with your heart. These small acts of courage can lead to profound transformations over time. Through this practice of living authentically, Zen invites us to embrace a life of integrity and purpose. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. When we align our outer world with our inner truths, we step into a sense of wholeness that no external achievement can provide. And with that foundation, we're ready to explore the final teaching, a powerful reminder that the journey itself holds endless lessons and gifts waiting to be discovered. As we bring our exploration of Zen teachings to this pivotal moment, let's pause and reflect on a truth that echoes through every step we've taken together: the idea that the path itself is the goal. It's a concept that might feel counterintuitive at first. After all, we're often taught to aim for outcomes, to set goals, and to measure success by what we achieve. But Zen invites us to shift our gaze from the horizon and instead focus on the ground beneath our feet. The journey, the daily choices, the small awakenings, the quiet moments of presence is where the essence of life truly unfolds. Think about it this way: imagine a traveler setting out to climb a mountain. They dream of the breathtaking view from the summit, the sense of accomplishment that will come with reaching the top. But as they climb, they begin to notice things they might have otherwise overlooked: the rustling of leaves in the breeze, the way sunlight filters through the trees, the sound of their own steady breath. These moments, though seemingly small, carry a richness that the destination alone could never provide. In fact, when they finally reach the summit, they might realize the climb itself was the most rewarding part. Zen teaches us to embrace this perspective in every area of life. The goal is not some distant future moment, it's the lived experience of now. This teaching challenges us to rethink how we approach learning and growth. Often we fall into the trap of thinking, once I achieve this, then I'll be happy, or once I master this skill, then I'll feel fulfilled. But by focusing solely on the end result, we risk missing the beauty of the process, the lessons, the challenges, and the unexpected joys that arise along the way. Zen reminds us that every step, every stumble, every moment of clarity is an integral part of the journey. It's in these experiences that we find meaning, not in some imagined endpoint. Here's a practical way to bring this teaching into your daily life. Instead of setting rigid goals that pull your attention away from the present, try focusing on the process itself. For example, if you're learning to meditate, don't worry about achieving a perfect state of calm right away. Celebrate the fact that you showed up for the practice, even if your mind feels restless. If you're working on a creative project, enjoy the act of creating rather than fixating on the final product. By shifting your focus to the journey, you'll begin to notice a deeper sense of satisfaction and peace. This teaching also encourages us to embrace curiosity and lifelong learning. Life, after all, is not a straight line with a single destination. It's a winding path filled with twists, turns, and unexpected detours. Each moment offers an opportunity to discover something new about ourselves and the world around us. Zen invites us to approach this journey with a sense of wonder, to stay open to the lessons that arise, and to trust that the path will reveal itself as we walk it. Let me share a story to illustrate this. I once met a gardener who had spent decades tending to a single plot of land. When I asked him what he hoped to achieve with his garden, he smiled and said, "Nothing really. I just love the act of planting, watering, and watching things grow." He didn't have a grand vision of a perfect garden. His joy came from the daily practice of care and connection. Over time, his garden became a lush, vibrant sanctuary, not because he was striving for perfection, but because he poured his attention into the process. His story reminded me that fulfillment often comes not from reaching a destination, but from the love and effort we bring to the journey itself. As we close this teaching, take a moment to consider your own path. Are you so focused on the destination that you've forgotten to enjoy the journey? What would it feel like to let go of that pressure and immerse yourself in the here and now? Zen reminds us that life is not something to be rushed through or endured until we reach a particular milestone. It's an ongoing process of discovery, growth, and presence. And as we move forward, let this final teaching be a gentle guide, a reminder that every step we take is an opportunity to live fully, to learn deeply, and to embrace the beauty of simply being. Now that we've explored the 25 teachings, including this profound reminder that the journey is the destination, we're ready to expand on how these principles can ripple into every corner of our lives. Let's dive into the practical ways you can weave Zen into your everyday routines and transform not just how you think, but how you live. With this deeper understanding of Zen's final teaching, let's now explore how these timeless principles can be woven into the fabric of your everyday life. Zen is not meant to be confined to meditation, cushions, or mountain retreats. It's a living philosophy, one that thrives in the ordinary moments of our days. Whether you're having a conversation, making a choice, or simply going about your routine, Zen offers tools to help you stay present, grounded, and intentional. Take mindful communication, for instance. How often do we find ourselves half listening in conversations, our minds already racing ahead to what we're going to say next? Zen encourages us to slow down and truly listen, not just to the words being spoken, but to the emotions, the pauses, and the unspoken messages beneath the surface. The next time you're speaking with someone, try this simple practice. Focus entirely on the person in front of you. Let go of distractions, whether they're external, like your phone, or internal, like your own thoughts. Notice their tone, their body language, and the way they express themselves. By doing this, you create a space of connection and understanding, one that honors both the speaker and the listener. It's a small shift, but it can transform the quality of your relationships. Decision-making, too, can benefit from a Zen-inspired approach. Often, we make choices driven by fear, desire, or the need for external validation. Zen invites us to pause and reflect before acting. Imagine you're faced with a challenging decision, perhaps a career change, a move to a new city, or even something as simple as how to respond to a disagreement. Instead of rushing to react, take a step back, sit quietly for a moment, and let the noise of thoughts and emotions settle. Ask yourself, what feels aligned with my true intentions? What would bring the most harmony to this situation? By approaching decisions from a place of calm and clarity, you're more likely to choose what truly serves you and those around you. Even mundane tasks can become opportunities to practice Zen. Consider something as routine as washing dishes. Instead of viewing it as a chore, bring your full attention to the experience. Feel the warmth of the water, notice the texture of the soap, and observe the way the light catches the bubbles. This simple act of presence transforms an ordinary moment into a meditation, reminding you that mindfulness isn't about doing extraordinary things, it's about seeing the extraordinary in the ordinary. To bring Zen into your daily life, start small. Choose one activity each day and commit to doing it with full awareness. It could be drinking your morning tea, walking to work, or even brushing your teeth. Over time, these moments of mindfulness will begin to ripple outward, influencing how you approach everything you do. The beauty of Zen is that it doesn't require grand gestures or dramatic changes. It's in the subtle shifts of attention, the quiet decisions to stay present, that its power truly shines. As we step into the next phase of our exploration, let's turn our focus to the challenges that might arise as you begin to integrate these practices into your life. While the principles of Zen are profound, putting them into action isn't always easy. Let's uncover some common obstacles and, more importantly, how to overcome them. As we navigate the path of Zen, it's natural to encounter moments of resistance or uncertainty. These challenges are not signs of failure, but rather stepping stones on the journey toward deeper awareness. One common obstacle many beginners face is the feeling of being overwhelmed by the sheer simplicity of Zen practices. In a world that often equates value with complexity, sitting quietly or focusing on a single task can feel, ironically, too easy to be meaningful. If this resonates with you, remember that the simplicity of Zen is its strength, not its weakness. To overcome this, try reframing your perspective. Instead of asking what you're achieving, focus on how these practices make you feel. Are you calmer, more present? Even small shifts in your state of mind are worth celebrating. Another frequent hurdle is impatience. Many people come to Zen seeking quick solutions to life's problems, only to find that the changes unfold gradually. This can lead to frustration or doubt. If you find yourself questioning whether you're doing it right, take a moment to honor the process itself. Growth in Zen, much like growth in nature, happens in layers, often imperceptibly. To stay motivated, set gentle intentions rather than rigid goals. For instance, instead of aiming to meditate for 30 minutes every day, commit to simply showing up on your cushion, even if only for 5 minutes. Over time, consistency will yield results, often in ways you might not immediately notice. Distractions, both external and internal, also pose a significant challenge. In our fast-paced, technology-driven lives, it can feel nearly impossible to carve out moments of stillness. If you struggle with this, start by creating small boundaries. Maybe it's turning off your phone for 10 minutes while you drink your morning coffee, or designating a quiet corner of your home as a mindfulness space. These tiny acts of intention can help you reclaim a sense of focus and peace. Internally, the chatter of thoughts can be equally distracting. When this happens, don't fight it. Instead, treat your thoughts like clouds passing in the sky. Acknowledge them without attachment and gently guide your attention back to the present moment. Finally, there's the challenge of integrating Zen into a busy lifestyle. Many beginners worry that they don't have enough time to practice mindfulness or meditation. The truth is, you don't need hours to benefit from Zen. Even a single mindful breath can reset your perspective. Look for opportunities to weave mindfulness into your existing routines. For example, as you wait in line at the grocery store, use that moment to feel the soles of your feet against the ground or to notice the colors and sounds around you. These brief pauses, when practiced regularly, can create a profound sense of balance and clarity. By acknowledging these challenges and meeting them with compassion and creativity, you'll find that the path of Zen becomes not only more accessible but also deeply rewarding. As we continue, let's take inspiration from those who have walked this path before us. Their stories remind us that transformation is possible even in the face of obstacles, and that every step forward is a victory worth cherishing. Next, we'll explore a few inspiring tales of individuals who turned their struggles into stepping stones on the journey to greater peace and wisdom. As we turn the page to a new chapter in our exploration of Zen, let's step into the lives of those who have walked this path and emerged transformed. These stories are not just anecdotes, they are reminders that change is possible even in the most unexpected ways. Take Sarah, for instance, a high-powered corporate lawyer who found herself constantly caught in the whirlwind of deadlines and expectations. Her days were a blur of meetings, emails, and sleepless nights. One day, after a particularly grueling week, she stumbled upon a simple meditation app. Skeptical but desperate, she decided to give it a try. At first, sitting still for even 5 minutes felt unbearable. Her mind raced with thoughts of unfinished tasks and looming deadlines. But over time, something shifted. The more she practiced, the more she noticed small pockets of calm amidst the chaos. That calm eventually grew into clarity. Today, Sarah still works in law, but she approaches her work and life with a newfound sense of balance. She credits Zen practices for teaching her how to pause, breathe, and find peace in the midst of life's storms. Then there's James, a retired teacher who struggled with feelings of loneliness and purposelessness after leaving his career. For years, he filled his days with distractions, watching television, scrolling through social media, anything to avoid the quiet. One day, a friend invited him to a Zen retreat. Though hesitant, he decided to attend. It was there that James discovered the power of mindful walking. He learned to focus on each step, feeling the ground beneath his feet and noticing the rhythm of his breath. What started as a simple exercise became a daily ritual. Walking mindfully helped James reconnect with the world around him and, more importantly, with himself. Over time, he found joy in the simplicity of nature and the small joys of everyday life, like the sound of birds chirping or the warmth of sunlight on his skin. And let's not forget Maria, a young mother juggling the demands of raising 2 children while working part-time. Exhausted and overwhelmed, she often felt like she was running on empty. One day, she came across the concept of mindful parenting, a practice rooted in Zen teachings. Intrigued, she began incorporating mindfulness into her daily interactions with her kids. Instead of reacting to their tantrums with frustration, she started pausing before responding, taking a deep breath to center herself. This small shift made a world of difference. Not only did it help her stay calmer, but it also deepened her connection with her children. Maria says that Zen taught her to see the beauty in the chaos of family life and to cherish the fleeting moments that make it all worthwhile. These stories highlight a truth that Zen has long taught, that transformation doesn't require grand gestures or dramatic changes. It often begins with small, intentional actions that ripple outward, touching every aspect of our lives. As you reflect on these journeys, ask yourself where you might find opportunities to embrace Zen in your own life. Perhaps you'll discover, as Sarah, James, and Maria did, that the seeds of transformation are already within you, waiting to be nurtured. With these inspiring examples in mind, we'll soon bring our exploration of Zen teachings to a close by revisiting the heart of this philosophy, the idea that the journey itself is the greatest reward. Stay with me as we uncover how these timeless principles can continue to guide us on the path to greater peace and wisdom. As we come to the end of this journey through the 25 teachings of Zen, it is worth pausing to reflect on the transformative power these principles hold. From embracing mindfulness to finding joy in the ordinary, from letting go of attachments to recognizing the interconnectedness of all things, each teaching builds upon the last, guiding us toward a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us. These lessons remind us that personal growth is not about perfection but about presence. It's about choosing to live with intention, to approach each moment with openness, and to cultivate peace even amidst life's inevitable storms. The beauty of Zen lies in its simplicity. You don't need grand gestures or drastic changes to begin. Start small, focus on your breath, notice the sensations in your body as you walk. Let go of the need to control every outcome. Over time, these seemingly tiny shifts can create profound ripples, touching every corner of your life. The stories of Sarah, James, and Maria are testaments to this truth. They are ordinary people who discovered extraordinary strength and clarity by embracing these timeless teachings. Now, as we close this chapter, I invite you to take a moment for yourself. Ask, where can I begin? Perhaps it's by setting aside 5 minutes each day for meditation, or simply paying closer attention to the sights and sounds around you. Remember, the path of Zen is not about reaching a final destination. It's about savoring the journey moment by moment, step by step, and as you walk this path, know that you're not alone. If these teachings have resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Share your reflections in the comments below. How do you plan to bring Zen into your daily life? And if you enjoyed this exploration, consider subscribing to the channel for more insights and tools to help you grow. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Together, let's continue this journey toward greater wisdom, peace, and authenticity. Thank you for being here, and remember, the path is the goal. See you in the next video.